So we are going to get this thing called to order. So this is a special meeting of the members of Cheshire TV. It's January 12th, 2021, and it is 5:30 p.m. I'm going to just go over a few guidelines and welcome people. We're going to do the quorum and roll call, and then we'll take it from there. So tonight we will have quite a few people at this meeting. So we do have members, we may have staff, board members, as well as people from the community just being here to observe. So I want to thank you all for joining us this evening for this members meeting with the sole purpose to remove Cheshire TV board members without cause. Before we begin, I would like to introduce Michael Branley from the town of Swansea. Michael, if you could just give us a little wave. There's Michael. Okay, so Michael is, let's see. Ken Colby recently resigned as the Swansea appointee after almost 6 years. Michael was approved by the town this week as the appointee. His membership paperwork as well as his appointee letter are on file at Cheshire TV. And I just want to welcome Michael. Thank you very much for joining us, Michael. This meeting has been set up as a Zoom webinar and will be recorded. All members are in good standing will be brought in as panelists. So everybody tonight so far has been brought in as a panelist. Once we do the roll call and find out if there's anybody that is not a member, you will be placed as an attendee. You can still watch and listen, but you won't be able to participate in the meeting. This is only for members. All members in good standing as of January 12th, 2021 will be allowed full participation in this meeting and have voting privileges. As of January 21st, I think there were 74 members earlier, all in good standing. There might be a couple more. We've had, I don't know where they came from, but anyway, we've got a few more since 5 o'clock. So we have approximately, I think 76. I can look at the exact number, or Conan has the exact list too. So Conan could give me that number. Mike Branley will be the Zoom administrator tonight for the meeting. Please make sure that your first and last name show, as I mentioned before, in your title on the photo box. Roll call will be taken at the beginning of the meeting by Conan Salata, he's our secretary, to determine all board members, staff, individual members, and other community members in attendance. And a quorum of the membership will be established. We will begin this meeting accepting a motion from the membership with a second. Then discussion will be opened where one person can speak at a time for 5 minutes, once recognized by the chair. Before you begin, please state your name, location, and other people in the room with you. Then you may proceed to speak. And I'm going to repeat that one more time because sometimes people don't hear it. So before you begin, please state your name, location, and any other people in the room with you. Then you may proceed to speak. This time is per person, 5 minutes per person, and your time is not transferable. If you have questions for the attorney or would like clarity, you may ask Brad Cook, who is here. He is here for the organization of Cheshire TV, no one personally, not for members in particular, not for the board in particular. He is here for clarity. And that will be part of your 5 minutes allotment. Interruptions of members will not be tolerated. You will be given no more than 3 warnings if you continue to interrupt. Your status will be changed from panelist to attendee, so you can still watch, but you will not be able to participate in the meeting. At that time, you will only be able to view the meeting and listen. The chat portion of the Zoom will not be available this evening, as all members will have the right to speak as recognized as they would at any meeting if we were meeting in person. We ask that you please be respectful of others and remind you to be recognized by the chair prior to beginning your talk. The video and minutes of this meeting will be made available on our website within a few days. So we are now in the meeting. The only item on the agenda is the petition to remove board members. And if anyone would like to start a motion, you are welcome.
I thought you were going to start with a roll call, Jody.
Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't gotten to the roll. That's going to take a while. All right. I'm sorry. Conan, could you do a roll call, please?
At this time, any members, if you haven't added a last name to your profile, and if you can do that, please, that'll help me out a whole lot. And I'm just going to go right on down the list alphabetically. starting with Ken Arnold, Vicky Ayer, Ernest Balder,
Baudelaire.
Present.
Gary Bo Chesney, Gerhard Betting, Joseph Bendinsky, Zachary Benton, Rick Blood,
Here. Here.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rick
heard you,
Blood is
Jo-
here.
Thomas Bonneville, Michael Branley,
Here.
Terry Clark,
Present.
Kirsten Klaus,
Here.
Ken Colby. Am I hearing something?
I think somebody's
Tom
got, yeah. If everybody
Tom
could
Cook.
mute, unless you're not being called, that would be great just for right now.
Tom Cook, Anna Coate,
It's Cody.
Ulysses de Guzman, Lori Donahue,
Here.
Bill Dow,
Here.
John Michael Dumas, Morgan Elliott, Elias Elliott,
Present.
Kyle Erickson, Mary Ewell,
Here.
Randy Filio, Alex Fleming, Diane Forcier, Ian Freeman, Katie Dardella, Christina Germano,
Christina is here. Yep.
George Hansel, John Hawley, Steve Hooper,
Here.
Todd Horner,
Here.
Michael Jasmine,
Here.
Otto Jesperson, Peter Kelleher, Kelly Devora Kelly. Is it Kelly DeVore?
Oh, it's Deborah Kelly.
Angus Kirkpatrick,
Here.
David Kirkpatrick, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Here.
Johanna Laurie, Joe Moss,
Here.
Susan McNeil,
Here.
Emily Mans, Robert Milliken,
Here.
Mike Molina, Nicholas Morton,
Here.
Shauna Nash,
Here.
Jody Newell,
Here.
Luca Paris,
Here.
Dave Payson,
Here.
Lee Perkins,
Present.
Daryl Perry,
Here.
Andrea Polisos,
Here.
Aaron Potter,
Here.
Sarah Powell, Patricia Rainey, Daniel Roth, Lenore Remu, Craig Rice, Chris Roberts,
Here.
Travis Rowe,
Here.
Conan Soliday is here. Tom Savastano, James Smart,
Here. Here.
Logan Smith, Kristen Nevos, Thomas Travers, Joni Turner,
Here.
Michael Varno, Kevin Watterson, Heather Watterson, Christopher Wilder, Rosel Zulo,
Here.
Miguel Picanco, John Bolster,
Present.
Thomas Burton.
Here.
Are there any members that were not called?
Joe Benzinski.
Yes, I called you earlier. I'm putting a check mark by your name. Let's see. Okay,
Gotcha.
anybody else any other members who were not called?
Miguel is here. He didn't answer, I don't think.
Jim Bemis.
Jim, are you a new member as of today?
I was an employee as of like March. And I thought I was a member, but I guess I must have let something lapse.
Jim Bemis is a member.
I don't see him
Please
on the
don't-
list though, Nick. I'm not trying to be a pain, but I don't see him on the list.
He should be on the updated list.
Was he just updated today?
Yes.
Okay. Just one
Yeah,
sec,
let's
'cause I
also
thought-
remember, like, my name was confused with someone else's email address in the first place anyway. So like, I think there might be some issues with people.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Let me look at the database. I have it right here. Yeah, Nick, I'm not seeing him.
I put him in there today.
I'm sorry.
I put him in there today. Jim is a member.
Okay, well, we'll have to update that tomorrow then. Okay,
How do you spell Bemis? B-E-M-I-S?
B-E- Yes, MIS.
and there may be more people coming in as we go along. I know that people are on their way home from work and things like that. So Michael, I don't know if you've got any other attendees. It looks like you got 2 attendees possibly.
Yeah, those two, one is a phone and one is, I
Okay.
think, Nick,
Yeah.
who's not letting me make a panelist, maybe because we have multiple people on the same email or something. I did see Ian Freeman came in after you
Mhm.
called his name, so he's here as well.
Okay, Ian Freeman is here. Okay.
Anybody else who was not called?
I believe Zach Benton wasn't here when you called his name.
Okay. And also Kristen Nieves is on her phone. Michael Branley, if you could put her in as a panelist as well, she's a member.
Yeah, I think either because she's on the phone or for some other reason, I'm not able to make
Okay.
her a panelist, but I have
right.
allowed her to talk, so she
Okay.
can be unmuted. And
Very
talk.
good. Okay. So, yeah, I know she's on her way home and she said that she'll be getting onto a computer when she gets home. So, okay. So now what do we have, Conan?
We're waiting for some members to make some motions, to make some arguments.
Do we know how many people we have though? Do we have, is it 51 people?
Certainly. Yeah, it's in the Keen chat. There's no QR or anything for that. I can make a QR code out of it. Could you read it?
I'm not sure who's talking, but you probably don't want to be talking on the meeting.
Unmuted.
Okay. So as soon as,
Currently we have 42 members in presence.
okay. Okay. So it looks like we hit the quorum. What we'll have to do now is have somebody entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Kirsten Klaus.
Yes, Kirsten.
I move that the members remove Christina Germano without cause.
Second. Yeah, I second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just one sec. Conan, are you going to have time to, you have this all written down yet?
I've got it.
Okay, Christina Germano without cause. The second was whom? We had several.
I'm going to just put Lee Perkins.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll take that.
okay. Any discussion, debate? Okay, I do have one question.
I have a question as well. I thought because this is a meeting to remove boards without cause, there really is no reason or that we should not be discussing it.
That's not how it works.
It's either a yes or no vote.
Okay. Brad, could you chime in on this? Not sure where you went.
I'm right here.
Mhm.
Certainly you can have a debate if you have a motion to do something and people don't think you should do something. People who are for it should say why they're for it, and people who are against it who say why they're against it. For cause means to remove somebody for having done something wrong. Without cause just means to remove them. But I would think the proponents would want to say why they want to do it, and the opponents would want to say why they don't think it should happen.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Kirsten.
in the interest of saving everyone time, I would like to say that a vote of yes means that you would like a board director to be removed. A vote of no means that you do not. If we have to do a lobbying or campaign for every motion, this is going to go on for hours.
You're correct. Yeah. But that's what this meeting is all about. And unfortunately, if it goes on for hours, it will go on for hours. So I want to hear if there's anybody that has any discussion or debate on this.
I do have a quick question because I'm just,
Okay, Jody Newell. Yep.
thank you. I'm just wondering, so like with cause, like if we're making arguments, what doesn't make sense to me is if we're making arguments about why this person should be removed, which I think there are legitimate arguments, then that would be with cause. Like that argument would be the cause. That's what I'm getting a little caught up on. And I think that's why we're wondering about why there would be discussion or why there would not be discussion, because the discussion is essentially showing to make the case for what is the cause, right? So
No, that's not what for cause means. For cause means people have done certain things, and that's the only reasons they can be removed. You have in your bylaws provisions that say people can be removed without cause, which means they can be removed just because you don't want them there anymore. But people still should say why they don't want them there, or if they oppose that because they think they should stay, they should be able to say that.
So for cause is for specific causes that are stated in the bylaws.
Yeah, they would, for example, for cause usually means crimes, actions with moral turpitude, neglect of duty. So various organizations have different definitions of for cause, but it usually means having affirmatively done something wrong, and then you can't remove them unless somebody can establish it. You can remove people without cause, but that doesn't mean you can't debate whether they should or shouldn't be, because you're trying to get something done here.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question, please?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Lee.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please, Lee Perkins.
If I'm hearing that correctly, if there is cause, proof must be established?
If the standard was cause, which it isn't, it would have to be established. But you don't have a standard here.
Thank you.
I have a question.
And who is this, Shauna?
This is Shauna, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's without cause, which it is it possible to ask the reason? Like, it sounds like there's a conflation between without cause and without reason. And I would be interested in hearing the reasons And there is no cause. It's been stated several times, but I don't know if that would be the same thing.
So I believe what I'm hearing is that without cause doesn't mean that there's not without reason. Without cause is without cause. Is that what I'm hearing, Brad?
Again, if the standard were you could only remove people for cause, those specific elements that constitute cause would have to be established. There obviously somebody wants to remove a board member without cause, they must have a reason why they want to remove them, but they don't have to establish some standard or a particular infraction, but they still can be asked for their reasons. They don't have to give them, but and if people think it's a bad idea, they can explain why they think it's a bad idea.
Good. And if I could just interject real quick.
Go right ahead, Jody.
I think we established on the last call that there were pretty significant, it would need to be pretty significant infractions if it was for cause, right? So that was what Bradford Cook, that's what you were talking about on the last one, on the last meeting, talking about what specific things would constitute for cause. And they were pretty dramatic, if that's the right word, but you know, pretty significant legal and that kind of things, right?
Right.
Okay.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Christina.
I think again, getting mired down in the what can and can't be said, I think what's important here is that there are many members that are on this call that have come on to vote or not, or abstain, or to just see what's going on. But even for a removal without cause, there is probably a basis for discussion for the many people who haven't been involved in this motion to make it with cause. If I suggest that you call on the people that made the motion, the 4 people that signed the letter, to establish something like that, or just even a summary of what the reason is, or that they just don't have cause, but somebody should speak one way or the other.
Right. All right. So let's start with Kirsten. Kirsten, you set the motion. Could you give us a reason for the removal of Christina Germano without cause?
I'm going to stick with without cause, and I would like to call the question.
Would we like to vote to call the question?
Procedure, Madam. You have to vote on.
Just one second. Brad Cook is talking.
Okay. The question has been called. That's a non-debatable motion, but you have to vote on it. So if a majority wants to call the question, then you go right to the vote.
Mm-hmm.
If the majority doesn't do it, then you continue debate.
Okay. So.
Point of personal privilege. This is my first meeting.
I'm sorry, who is this talking?
This is Rich Paul talking.
Okay, thank you,
Rich. This is my first meeting, so could you tell me how we vote? Is there a button that you push?
No, we will be taking a roll call. Conan will be calling names and getting your vote.
Okay, I'll shut up until.
That's okay. That's okay.
Rich, are you a new member as of today?
I am a new member as of today.
Okay. I don't see him on the list, but he must be on there.
All right. Do you want to do a roll call vote to move the motion?
Move the question. Yeah.
Move the question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go down the list of people who have already admitted to being here. And if I get to the end of the list and I did not call your name and you're a member, please chime in at that time. So I'll start with the members who I have already verified are here. And this is
Could you repeat the motion as well, Conan, just to make sure that everybody understands what we're voting on, please?
The motion is to remove board member.
No, the motion is to call the question.
Motion is first to call the question, Conan, to find out if everybody wants to vote on this, if everybody's ready.
Excuse me, to call the question.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Chair, Daryl Perry.
Just Daryl Perry, yes.
Would it be much faster to ask if there is objection to calling the question before we do a roll call on calling the question?
It does say in some of the statute to do Zoom calls that it has to be by roll call. I mean, we can do that, but it does say that roll call is the form that we're supposed to be using.
Excuse me, Mr. Cook, if you could clarify whether or not Robert's Rules of Order allows discussion on call the question?
No, calling the question is a non-debatable motion.
Then I would proceed with calling the question if I were the chair.
So Brad, do you know, is it okay to just do a call, or do we have to do it by roll call? I was under the impression from what I read that we had to do roll call, but if we don't, that's fine.
Well, I don't know enough about voting in Zoom calls to know whether it's still got to be a vote of everybody.
Right. I think we still do it as a roll call.
If Conan can figure out who's voting in some other method, I suppose you could do it some other way, but.
Yeah.
I believe you can do unanimous consent, if I recall correctly, which means you just say, does anybody object? And if there are no votes, you can assume that the roll call would pass.
Okay, we can do that. So do we have a unanimous yes for calling the question?
No.
Nope. Just one
No.
sec. Just no. Okay, so we don't. So we're going to do a roll call. Conan, could you please do a roll call?
All right.
This is for calling the question.
The motion is to call the question. Roll call. Ernie Balder.
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky.
No.
Zachary Benton.
Yes.
Rick Blood.
Yes.
Michael Branley.
No.
Terry Clark.
Yes.
Kirsten Klaus.
Yes.
Lori Donahue.
Yes.
Bill Dow.
Yes.
Elias Elliott.
Yes.
Mary Ewell.
Yes.
Ian Freeman. Christina Germano.
Abstain.
I know there's Ian Freeman. Are you back with us? What is your vote? Steve Hooper.
No.
Todd Horner.
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine.
No.
Devora Kelly.
Yes.
Angus Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick. Bailey Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Was that a yes, David? Johanna Laurie.
Yes.
Joe Moss.
Yes.
Susan McNeil.
Yes.
Robert Milliken.
No.
Nicholas Morton.
Abstain.
Shauna Nash.
No.
Jody Newell.
Yes.
Luca Paris.
Yes.
Dave Payson. Lee Perkins. Lee. Daryl Perry.
Yes.
Andrea Polisos.
Sorry, yes.
Aaron Potter.
Yes.
Chris Roberts.
No.
Travis Rowe.
Yes.
Conan Soliday votes no. James Smart.
Yes. Yes.
Kirsten Nevis. Is she on the phone?
She sent an email and said she is unable to speak currently. She's almost home, but she said to vote to yes to call the question.
Jody Turner.
No.
Roselle Zulo.
Yes.
John Bolster.
Yes.
Thomas Burton.
No.
Jim Bemis.
Yes.
Rich Paul.
No.
And Miguel? Did you have Miguel?
Yes.
Conan, did you get Miguel's?
I got him now.
Okay.
Was there
And I think
anybody?
there was one other person I think that was missed. Yeah, please go ahead. If they go to the Cheshire TV website, it's right on the Cheshire TV website. They can click on that. Did they receive invitations? It is on our website and it has been for quite some time. And you guys were all able to get in, so I think everybody else should be able to get in. Who is it again? What are their phone numbers? Could you give me some kind of a contact information? I'm not going to go out of the meeting right now, but
I have Craig's phone number, I believe.
Craig? Mm-hmm. Well, if
Would you like Craig's phone number?
Sure.
603-903-4088.
Okay. Yeah. And have they already been told that they could go to the website, Dave?
I'm sorry, what?
Brian?
Yes, I am. No, I'm not.
Dave, are they aware that they could go to the website? So Craig and Randy have? Okay. And they're still not able to get in? Okay. I understand that. But what I'm asking is, have they tried? Okay. So I don't have Randy's contact information. I can call Craig. Oh my God. Yes, I will go. I have it right here. So I will call. That's okay. Just one moment, please.
Who seconded the move the question motion?
I did.
I believe Lee was not able to vote.
Calling the question does not need a second.
I do think that Lee, because when we called his name, he wasn't able to say something. I think his connection had cut out. Lee can clarify on that, but I don't believe he was able to vote.
Yeah, my vote would have been yes, since I seconded calling the question. Thank you.
I spoke with Craig and I left a message on Andy Filio's phone. So we're doing what we can. All right. So Conan, how many people do we have on that?
The results are as follows: 29 yeas, 12 noes, 3 objections. So the
Okay.
motion to move the
Abstentions.
question passes.
Yes. Who was asking? Did somebody say something?
I said abstentions, not objections.
Excuse me, abstentions.
Okay. So the motion passes. We will, the question has been called, and so we will take a vote of the motion to withdraw Christina Germano without cause. This has been seconded by Lee Perkins. Conan, are you ready to take a roll call?
I am.
I'm sorry, somebody's talking and I can't hear you.
Steve, I think, was talking.
Okay, Steve Hooper?
Point of order, please, Madam Chair.
Yes, Steve.
In your remarks early on, you'd mentioned allowance for discussion for 5 minutes regarding the issue at hand. When will that take place, Madam Chair?
It would have taken place, but there was a, I will run this by, Randy Filio is in our meeting now too. So Randy is in. Brad, I'd just like to run this by you. We go right into the motion now because it has, the question has been called?
When the question has been called, that cuts off debate and you go right to the vote.
Right. So if we have a chance for debate, Steve, we will, but in this case, the question has been called.
Thank you, Brad and Jody. I appreciate the clarification on that. Thank you much.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, Conan, we're ready for a roll call.
Ernest Bodler. Ernie, how do you vote? Joseph Bendinsky.
I'm sorry, if you couldn't hear me, I said yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Conan, did you get Ernie's?
I did.
Okay.
Joseph
Joe?
Bendinsky, how do you vote?
Not to remove.
Zachary Benton.
Yes. Yes.
Rick Blood.
Yes.
Michael Branley.
No.
Terry Clark.
Yes.
Okay, before we
Kirsten?
go on, I'm sorry, before we go on, Thomas Bonneville, is Thomas Bonneville here? Okay, we had him listed as, at least I had him listed as a member before. That's the person that I had a question on. So if he's not here, then that's fine.
Kirsten Klaus.
Yes.
Lori Donahue.
Yes.
Bill Dow.
Yes.
Elias Elliott.
Yes.
Mary Ulu.
Yes.
And Mary, it's Ewell, correct?
Ewell.
Yes, thank you.
Randy Filio.
Yes.
Ian Freeman. Ian Freeman. Christina Germano.
Abstain.
Steve Hooper.
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner.
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine.
No.
Devora Kelly.
Yes.
Angus Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick. Bailey Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Johanna Lurie.
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris,
Yes.
Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Okay, good.
Daryl
It gets
Perry,
Yes.
Andrea Polisos,
Yes.
Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
Abstain.
Travis Rowe,
Yes.
Conan Soliday votes no, James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Navis, Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picanco,
Yes.
John Bolster, Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul.
I'm not going to fire a man for no reason.
Your vote is abstention or no?
My vote is no.
Thank you.
Sorry, technical difficulties. This is Johnny Bolster. I vote yes.
I believe Ian Freeman's back on the line.
I don't know what we're voting on. I will.
Ian, could you please take yourself off mute for just a moment?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're voting to remove Christina Germano without cause.
Okay, yeah, I was disconnected for a while, so I didn't hear any of the discussion regarding why that is.
There was no discussion.
no-
It was a call the question. So
Oh.
yeah, and so there was no discussion anyway. It's just a vote of yes, you would like to see her removed or not.
Well, without any kind of reason, I would have to vote no.
All right. The yeas have it, 29, the noes with 12, and 4 abstentions.
Okay. All right, Christina has been removed. Do we have another motion? Someone? No motions?
I will make a motion that we remove Bob Milliken from the board without cause.
Second.
So that was a first by Lori Donahue and a second by Russell Zulo. Okay, is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, David.
It was my understanding that Bob Milliken is an appointee from SAU 29, and I'm unclear about whether or not appointees can be removed this way.
Thank you, Dave. Brad, could you explain that and clarify?
Yes, I believe appointees cannot be removed for a couple of reasons. One, the general law is that the appointing authority is the only one who can remove. The second one's practical. If it was removed today, it could be put back by them tomorrow. And the third one, as to some of your appointees, but probably not all of them, is they have a contract that entitles them to appoint a member, and this would be a violation of the contract. I'm not sure that's true in his case, but I don't believe only the elected directors can be removed by this process.
Madam Chair, may I address Mr. Cook?
Yes, Kirsten.
So, Mr. Cook, the bylaws very clearly state that the approval of the board is required to remove an appointed director when there are less than 50 members. Cheshire TV has more than 50 members. There's no language in any other document preventing the removal of appointed directors. We are passionate about bylaw compliance and have consulted 3 separate attorneys to review the language, who have all independently verified that bylaw does not apply to this motion. There's nothing in the operating rights agreement or the bylaws that says we can't remove appointed members. We can't fill those seats. And the city or the school districts are welcome to appoint whomever they want tomorrow morning.
Mr. Cook, what does Robert's rules say about removing appointed directors?
Robert's rules, I don't think addresses that.
So Brad Cook, do you have anything to add to that? Because you have explained already that they can be put back on tomorrow.
Right. So it's kind of a empty exercise. As to the ones from the town and the city, there's a contractual right to appoint. And I think you'd be breaching the agreement if you remove them. I don't think that's true of the school district, one. But when you're talking, I think it's important to understand the relationship between bylaws and the constitution of your organization, which is the Articles of Agreement, which is the only thing filed with the state. That's the law. That's like the Constitution of the United States. And I would just like to point out to you that in your Articles of Agreement and amended that were passed in 2005, this is what it says about members. All residents of Keene, Marlborough, and Swansea, New Hampshire are eligible for membership in the corporation. Educational, governmental, healthcare, arts, religious, business, civic, and other entities which are based in or serve the residents of these 3 communities shall also be eligible for membership. Your bylaws say any natural person, which is totally inconsistent with your articles. So you've got a real mess, as I said at the last meeting. I've only been engaged by this organization for a couple of weeks, but you've got a real mess on your hands because people who aren't from, it was never amended when Marlborough withdrew from being a part of this. But that's the Constitution, that's the law, and your bylaws are inconsistent with that. So I wonder, as I watch all this, how that all plays out, because you've got a lot of people on this call who aren't eligible under your Constitution to be members. And I think this reliance on bylaws, which are operating rules without any question, but the over-reliance on that, like it's the end-all be-all, talked about your articles or how you were constituted, is quite important.
Okay. Yes, Lee Perkins.
I have a question for Attorney Cook. Is there anything in the Constitution that prevents the members from removing without cause an appointed director?
No, it's not mentioned in your Articles of Agreement.
And the bylaw that specifically says requiring board approval to remove an appointed director applies when there are fewer than 50 members. That's not in dispute?
That's what it says.
Okay, so over 50 members, the membership can vote to remove a director without cause, including appointed directors.
Who can be put right back on tomorrow.
Yep.
Is that?
Yeah, that wasn't my question.
Madam Chair?
I'm sorry, who's calling? Chris?
Yes.
Chris Roberts.
Correct. I have, listening to this, and I gotta admit, this is the first time I've been on them, but I've been on plenty with City Council, the State House, and the school board. If I'm someone outside and I'm coming and I want to read the minutes of this meeting, this is going to come across as so chaotic and really kind of unprofessional, because it's like we're discussing among ourselves what we would like, but we're a public entity and our minutes go to the public. And I think it's important, even if we're going to remove someone without cause, we at least have a debate without otherwise it coming across as like everybody made a decision before they even showed up. And that's why I have a concern what the public would think we are as a body.
Thank you, Chris. So we do have a motion on the floor to remove Bob Milliken. We have a second. Is there further discussion?
Yeah,
Rich Paul?
I have a question on it, Rich Paul.
Mhm.
Why do you want to fire this guy? What did he do? Is he bad at his job? Is there something wrong with him? If not, it seems capricious and pointless to fire him.
Let's see, Lori Donahue, could you answer that, seeing that you made the motion, please?
I think that if you have been attending the board member meetings for the last couple of months and they have been public, that a lot of these issues are addressed at that point. So I really don't want to get into any back and forth about this stuff. I'd rather just call the motion.
Well, I think debate is an important thing. If you're asking people to vote on a thing and something is important, like taking somebody's job from them, it's good to know why that's being done. And this is the time for debate. You may call the question if you like, but I will oppose it until I find out what's going on here. Why are these people being fired?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Christina Germano.
As a member, I'd like to be recognized.
Yes, Christina.
I believe that everybody on this call should probably listen a little bit to the Council for Cheshire TV. So before these decisions are made, I'm gone, that's fine. But one, the legal repercussions of our contracts with the cities and with the SAU, where they can have an appointee. Removing appointees is probably not a good idea because there will be legal repercussions to Cheshire TV based on it, which is not in the best interest of Cheshire TV. And if someone doesn't want to go with the legal counsel that represents the entire entity, not members, not board members, not anybody except for the purpose of bringing Cheshire TV back to the status in the community that it deserves to be. I would, as a member, move to go beyond any of the appointees, and anyone else that people want to remove, do that. If you continue with the appointees, there will be, there are contracts with the cities that the bylaws don't necessarily address. And I think it would be in bad faith to remove appointed members from the community sources, not only financially, but also socially, that support Cheshire TV.
Thank you,
Jody,
Christina.
I'm
sorry, just, wait a minute.
I
Lori
had
Donahue.
called the question. I have
I'm
already
sorry?
called the question. I called the question.
Okay. So Lori Donahue has called the question. Would we like to take a roll call? Conan, do we have to second this again? I'm sorry,
I'll second.
Lee Perkins is seconding, calling the question. Lori Donahue is calling the question. Conan, when you are ready, Lee has seconded. This is for calling the question.
Are we calling the question or are we just going to vote on it?
I believe we're calling the question. That's what Lori made as a motion and Lee Perkins seconded.
This is on calling the question. That's what the vote's on.
Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
No.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow,
No.
Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Uhl,
Yes.
Randy Filio, Ian Freeman,
No.
Christina Germano, Steve Hooper,
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
This is Christina Germano. It was a no.
Devora Kelly, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken, Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
Not at all.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry,
Abstain.
Andrea Polisos, Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe,
Yes.
Conan Soliday votes no. Travis,
Strauss was a yes.
James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Nevos,
No.
Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picanco,
Yes.
John Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul,
Super secret firing is no way to thank a volunteer. I'll say no.
The yeas have it with 21. The noes are 16 with 3 abstentions.
Okay.
Motion moves.
Motion passes. Bob Milliken has been removed from the board.
No, he hasn't. That was the motion to call.
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
question.
That was, oh gosh, this has taken so long. I'm sorry. That was to call the question. Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to do the motion then.
And the motion is to remove Bob Milliken from the Board of Directors.
Mhm.
Roll call. Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
No.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow,
No.
Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Uhl,
Yes.
Randy Filio,
Yes.
Ian Freeman,
No.
Christina Germano,
No.
Steve Hooper,
Double adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Devora Kelly,
Yes.
Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick,
David's having technical difficulties right now.
Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
Oh.
Nicholas Morton,
No.
Shauna Nash,
Triple no.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry,
Abstain.
Andrea Polisos, Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe.
Yes.
Conan Soliday votes no. James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Nevos,
No.
Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picanco,
Yes.
John Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul.
Hell no.
Hello. You guys skipped me again.
Craig Rice, is this who's saying that?
Yeah, this is Craig Rice.
Okay, Craig Rice. Conan?
Craig Rice,
Yes.
And is there anybody else that we did not call on? Just to make sure that nobody's come in while we're waiting. Okay. Okay.
Jody, this is Vicky here. I came in after the conversation had started, so
All right.
I don't
So
have a
Vicky,
vote on this.
do you want to know what the motion is? Or are you good?
But
Vicky?
I'm good. I wasn't here for the reading of it, so yeah, I'll abstain if you need an actual.
Okay, thank you, Vicky.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I'm seeing in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kirsten, yes.
I'm seeing in the chat that someone named Nicole Newell, she just typed, I am here. I don't know.
Okay, Michael, could you let Nicole in?
There is no one in as an attendee that has not been made a panelist.
The yeas have it with 25 votes, the nays with 18 and 2 abstentions.
I'm sorry, again, what was that?
Yeas 25, nays 18.
Okay. All right, so Robert Milliken has been removed from the board as an appointee. All right, next motion. Okay. A motion has been made to remove Dave Payson without cause. Do we have a second?
Second.
Lee Perkins, second. Do we have discussion?
I have a question about it.
Yes, Shauna.
Why?
Dave Kirkpatrick, could you give an explanation to Shauna, please? Well, Dave, this is a public forum and there are people that would like to vote, so they probably would like to know why they're voting. Could you please explain a little bit for these people? Meaning, which business in particular?
The fact that they can't tell you tells you everything you need to know.
Without purple.
How does that work if you had just said that there's all these meeting minutes and it's been discussed in all these meetings and the public has had all this chance to get up to speed, but now you're saying if I don't know, it's my own fault? Like, I don't understand how does that, I mean, I understand, like, it sounds, the tension in the computer sounds very palpable, that there's a lot of desire to get rid of people for things that have already been discussed, but if it would be possible to, I guess, just like bullet points or rehash, not re-belabor, but, you know, kind of like explain it to somebody who I want to know. You know, it's, I don't want to have, you know, old minutes that kind of just said aren't accessible read back to me, but I want to know why. It doesn't
Madam
sound
Chair.
from anybody that it's lightly taken action.
Madam
That's
Chair.
Shauna, are you finished?
I'm good. Yep.
Thank you, Shauna. Terry Clark.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I could, when I was appointed as a City of Keene member of the board, I was very dismayed at the lack of professionalism, the decorum displayed by the board members at the time. And I understand that a lot of most of the board members at the time have already gone. And I'm here because I want to see a clean slate established. I want all of this gone. I don't want any more tarnish. Cheshire TV has a very important role for the city of Keene, for the towns surrounding it. And I think that it's just important that we establish a clean slate. So I don't know that for the members who are here who aren't sure why they're here, I would say that, you know, they really should have been paying attention to some of the things that have been going on. And if there's any specific questions that they have, then you know, this is the time, I suppose, for them to ask that. But why I'm speaking, as far as the appointed members go, I believe that there's a difference between them and members elected by the members. And, you know, for appointed members of the board, I think the only time that we really should remove those people is for cause. We really should bring, because of what the attorney said, that we do have a contract with those, with the towns and the school district. So, but in any case, for the new members, I'm not sure if now is the time to come in and start asking all of the questions about what it is that we're here for, because this has been going on for a long time. And you really should have been aware of what's been going on. And the problem, in my mind, is that the board has not brought that to the membership. The board has not brought that to the public. There has been a profuse lack of professionalism and decorum. And I believe that we should continue with the agenda tonight, and maybe discuss a little further if the members want to, but it's no secret why we're here tonight.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Christina Germano.
I would like to just give a little background, because there seems to be a lot of members here that were invited, not only through the Sentinel and an article and making sure that our database was correct so that all members were available to be here. And I agree with Terry, there is a difference between the appointed members because there are underlying contracts that may not be in the bylaws with the organizations which Cheshire TV does business. And those underlying contracts can't be just hawked like, oh, it's in the bylaws, yeah, we can take anyone else out that we want to. And the other thing I would like to just caution members about, board members are all aware of this because I did send an email out just to kind of inform the board, because that's who I have a relationship with, that if Terry says he wants a clean slate, if you every board member that the membership removes this evening cannot be replaced by membership until the annual meeting. And also in the bylaws, those positions cannot be replaced by the board for 6 months. So I get the clean slate if you want it. I'm happy to go. Trust me. The stress that has been caused to me by a particular person over this past several months when I've tried to volunteer and do a job and spend 15 hours a week doing something that I didn't sign up for. I would caution all of the members of Cheshire TV, every vacancy that is established this evening cannot, by bylaws and by legal counsel, be replaced in less than 6 months. The board has been operating at a number much lower than the 12 that they should have been operating on. Most of the 7 members appointed or elected prior to the elections last week that were verified have been working 7 out of 12 positions. We elected 5 new members from the membership, and that was a great thing to have so that we felt like we had a full board. If the membership, just by jumping on the party line, removes 4 or 5 members, even though a couple of them are illegally, you will be working with a lame board again because there's so much work to be done.
Madam Chair,
May I speak?
I'm sorry, just one moment, please. I have Brad Cook, who's next.
No, I didn't raise my hand. I'm not a member.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, Steve Hooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with Christina that actually removing board members pretty much through stress due to certain members, and then continuing to try to remove board members this evening is really defeating the point of, and I disagree respectfully with Councillor Clark. I think cleaning the slate is just too radical a move. I think you need a full slate to get the work done. A lot of these committees, as Christina just mentioned, will be without force with lack of members. The energy will not be there by continually removing board people, either through sickness and stress, which has been accomplished by the other side, to the votes tonight. So I really respectfully ask those to please consider that if the community at large is looking for the energy of serving the community, they're not going to see that energy with a fragmented board. And in the sense of Keene, the city of Keene, which I represent as a city councilor, I just want to caution that the city really wants to see a lack of contention and they want to see the board moving ahead in full with a full slate, and that means 8, 10, 12 people so that they can serve the community. And if they don't feel that there's a full slate here with the energy needed, they will be looking at the situation and wondering, are people more involved with trying to break things down, or are they more involved with trying to serve the community at large? And a lot of money is coming from the city of Keene. And one thing I just want to add is that I think that we really need to send a message out there to the community that we're trying to work together. We're not to try to tear apart. And that's what I'm seeing this evening, sadly. And one last thing, we are in the year of the pandemic. Many nonprofits have had very difficult times working. And annual meetings have even been postponed with permission from the New Hampshire Charitable Trust Attorney General's office. They know that things are tough. As Christina said, there's been very few people for the work to be done because everyone has been scared away. And is that constructive? Do you really want that to happen? Is that the message you want to share with the community? I think we need to keep the appointees, and we should have kept the board members as well. I do agree with Councilor Clark. I don't think the appointees should be touched. There's a lot of issues there, and I look forward to continuing to work to try to build Cheshire TV. I've been a member for a number of years. I want things to happen right, but I've had experience with boards and the contention gets out there and into the media, and donations go down, support goes down. Let's work together, please. Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Steve
Chair, I'd
Hooper.
like to call the question.
I'm
Nope,
sorry, we have a couple
with
more
their
people.
hands up, yeah.
Russell Zullo would like to talk.
No, Jody, we've had people waiting with their hands up, so
Oh,
I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
go to them first.
So-
Russell, if you'd like to indicate by using the raise hand function, we can get you in the queue. But
Okay.
we really should call on these people that have been waiting.
I
So we have-
apologize. I can't see the hands up. So Michael, if you can show me.
That's why I jumped in and
Awesome.
bowled you over. So I'm just going to call on them in order. So if people would
Yes.
like to indicate by raising their hand that they'd like to get in the queue, we'll go next to Miguel Picanso.
Miguel?
Thank you. Yes, I have a lot of things to say at this point, but I'm going to try to just hit a couple key things. First of all, I have heard nothing directly from the bylaws, I don't have them right in front of me, that indicate some of the legal threats that I think I've been hearing towards members about how we should vote and what we're here to do tonight. And I find that extremely reckless, especially because this is a public forum that's going to be out in for everyone in the public to hear. And if this is going to cause a ruckus, then everything everyone says tonight is going to be heard by the community. Please keep that in mind before you start making declarations as to what is legal and what is not. Thank you.
Thank you,
Michael,
Miguel.
the
We'll next go to Daryl Perry.
Yes, thank you, Daryl Perry. I have 2 cats in the room with me, no other humans. I just want to point out, or rather correct something that someone said earlier, where they said that any vacancies filled tonight had to wait 6 months to be filled. That is actually not accurate. That section of the bylaw says, except for vacancies created by the members, in accordance with 503 and 505. Section 5.05 of the bylaws authorizes the members to fill those vacancies. Since that is not on the agenda for tonight's meeting, there would need to be another meeting called, but that could be held with as little as 30 days notice. So in theory, we could fill those vacancies on, it looks like February the 14th, if I'm looking at this right, maybe February 12th. So those vacancies can be filled. As far as what Roberts says, and I noticed that the bylaws does not specify a particular edition of Roberts. I have the 11th edition in my hand right now. It does not appear that the membership has the authority to remove an appointed member unless the body that appointed was the board. Where the board does appoint at least one, if not two or three members. So anyone that was elected or appointed by the board can be removed in accordance with our bylaws and with Roberts. That's why I abstained on the last motion. And that is all I have to say, is to correct the falsity that we would have to wait 6 months to elect anyone new.
Thank you, Daryl. Brad Cook, would you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I think he's wrong. The 505 that he talked about says what members can vote on and they can have meetings for. And one of the things is filling vacancies. But the substantive provision on filling vacancies in the bylaws says that the members can only fill vacancies that have been vacant for 6 months.
Madam Chair, that is incorrect.
Just 1 second, please. Let Brad talk, and Daryl, you can have a talk after.
The section that says except vacancies created by removal talks about what the board can fill, not what the members can fill. So the board can't fill them, the members can't fill them, so nobody can fill them for 6 months, the way the bylaws are written.
I respectfully disagree with your reading of that bylaw, Mr. Cook. I read the entire section to be talking about except for vacancies created by the removal of a director by the members.
Yeah, that's talking about the board filling them.
My interpretation as a former member of the board for 6 years and a previous secretary and previous acting parliamentarian for the board, it is my interpretation that that entire section 7.07 has the exemption for vacancies created by removal of directors by the members, and I would like to call the question.
Daryl, are you a member of the New Hampshire Bar? Daryl, are you a member of the New Hampshire Bar?
I never said that I was a member of the New Hampshire Bar.
So the fact that Cheshire TV has—
Madam Chair, the question has been called by 4 different people.
The fact that the
I'm going to let Christina finish, and then we will call the question.
A legal counsel that is in the best interest of Cheshire TV, that has 30 years experience, is a member of the New Hampshire Bar, does work with nonprofits, member organizations, broadcast organizations. He is here for Cheshire TV. And your interpretation of the bylaws,
Mr. Mono,
I greatly respect your—
Please, Daryl, please let Christina finish, and then you can talk.
I respect—
He's debating. I called the question. 3 other people called the question.
The question has been called, Madam Chair.
Okay, the question has been called. Conan, could you take a roll call, please, to call the question on Dave Payson being removed from the board? So could you call the question, see if we are going to call the question?
Ernest Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
No.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow, Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Uhl,
Yes.
Randy Filio,
Yes.
Ian Freeman,
No.
Christina Germano,
No.
Steve Hooper. Steve,
He's muted.
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Devora Kelly, Devora, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick, David, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken, Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
Abstain.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry,
Yes.
Andrea Polisos,
Yes.
Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe,
Yeah.
Conan Solity votes no. James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Kristen, will you please say your last name for me?
Nevius and no.
Nevius. Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo, Roselle, Miguel Picancio,
Yes.
John Bolster.
Yes.
Did you get Roselle's vote?
I did not.
He said yes.
Yes, sorry, technical difficulties.
Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul. Rich,
I think Lee Perkins was missing from that last.
No, I think he had a yes.
I got him.
I'm sorry, it was Luca Paris, I believe. Or
Luca
did I-
Paris was not here. No. Did Lucas want to place a Luca? Yeah, I don't know where he is. He wasn't here for the last one either.
The yeas have it with 26, nays 14, 3 abstentions.
And how many abstentions? I'm sorry.
3.
3. Okay, thank you. So the motion has been made to remove Dave Payson from the board, and it has been seconded by Lee Perkins. We'll now do a roll call for that vote. Conan,
Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
No.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue.
Yes.
I'm sorry, say that again, Lori.
Yes.
Bill Dow,
No.
Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Uhl,
Yes.
Randy Filio,
Yes.
Ian Freeman. Ian, Christina Germano,
No.
Steve Hooper,
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Devora Kelly, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken. Robert. Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes. I'm sorry.
Luca Paris, Dave Tate. Say that again.
Other terrible things the Republicans are going to try to jam
And-
through. One.
Someone needs to mute. Dave Payson,
For me, abstain.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry,
Yes.
Andrea Pelisos,
Yes.
Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
Abstain.
Travis Rowe,
Yeah.
Tony Ansaldi votes no, James Smart,
No.
Kirsten Nevios,
Oops. No.
Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picancio,
Yes.
John Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul, The yeas have it with 25, the nays 13, and 4 abstentions.
Okay, the motion passes to remove Dave Payson from the Cheshire TV board. Do we have
Madam
another?
Chair, I move that the membership votes to remove Conan Saladay from the board without cause.
Second.
I'm sorry, and Rick Blood is the second? So Lee Perkins was the first, was the motion, and Rick Blood was the second. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Chris Roberts.
Two things. As I'm listening to people, a number of people have come up with reasons or causes to remove people. the more honorable thing to do is to remove them for cause and have to justify it, because that's what I've been hearing why they should be removed. And second, they shouldn't be dragging this out. If they want to, the goal is to remove the whole board. They should vote the board as a slate, and if anybody has an objection to that, they can make the amendment to remove someone instead of having to go through every single person.
Exactly. Thank you, Chris.
Just Madam Chair, to respond to Chris is, they don't want to remove the whole board. They just want to remove any board members that have been here prior to last week's election of the 5-member voted board members.
They list them all by name.
I'd like to address that. Mr. Roberts, Madam Chair, may I address that?
Yes, you may, Kirsten.
We're pretty passionate about voting rights, membership rights. If someone were to make a motion and put multiple board members in all together, it would prevent you would have to do all or nothing. I don't want to sit here and do this one at a time, but if one person has a feeling about one board member and not another, they need to be separate. So I call the question.
That's why
Okay,
you
the
make
question-
an amendment to remove somebody from that list.
Yes, Kirsten Klaus has called the question.
All right, we're just going to vote on
Dave
the motion.
Kirkpatrick, as this is going to be calling the question, Conan, so you can go through the roll call if you'd like.
Do we need to vote on calling the question? Can we just vote on the motion?
They called the question, so we really need to vote on calling the question.
Does anyone object to just going straight to the motion?
I do.
All right, this is a roll call for calling the question. Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley, Michael, Terry Clark,
Yes.
Mike Brindley was a no.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow,
Yes.
Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Ewell,
Yes.
Randy Filio,
Yes.
Ian Freeman, Christina Germano,
No.
Steve Hooper,
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Devora Kelly, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie, Johanna, Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry, Daryl, Andrea Palisos, Andrea, Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe,
Yes.
Conan Solity votes no. James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Navius,
No.
Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Roselle,
That was a yes.
Miguel Picancio,
Yes, so.
John Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton,
Nope.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul, The yeas have it with 25, the nays 13, 2 abstentions.
Okay, thank you, Conan. Okay, the motion has been made to remove Conan Salata from the Cheshire TV board, seconded by Rick Blood. Would you take a roll call, Conan?
Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zachary Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
Yes.
Kirsten Klaus,
Yes.
Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow,
Yes.
Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Ewell,
Yes.
Randy Filio,
Yes.
Ian Freeman, Christina Germano, Christina, Steve Hooper,
No. Sorry.
Steve,
Adamantly no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Devora Kelly, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
David Kirkpatrick, Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie, Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nicholas Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry, Andrea Polisos, Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
Abstain.
Travis Rowe.
Yes.
Say that again.
Yes, please.
Conan Solity votes no. James Smart,
Yes.
Kristen Nevios,
No.
Jody Turner,
No.
Roselle Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picanso,
Yes.
John Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton,
No.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Rich Paul.
Michael Branley,
Yes.
Okay, Brad Cook would like to say something right after this.
Okay.
Right.
And are there any other hands up or anything right now while we're waiting for Conan?
Chris Roberts has had his hand up for a while, but I don't know if
Okay.
it's still current or not.
I've already talked.
Okay.
I'm going to
Thank
put
you,
your
Chris.
hand down then, Chris.
Okay, yeah.
I think Brad could speak now, Jody, if you want.
Brad Cook?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I thought I said before, and I didn't think people focused on what I said, that your articles of agreement, which are your constitution that sets the rules, the basic rules with the state of New Hampshire for your organization, says as follows. The residents of Keene, Marlborough, and Swansea, New Hampshire are eligible for membership in the corporation. And educational, governmental, healthcare, arts, religious, business, civic, and other entities which are based or serve the residents of the three communities shall also be eligible for membership. That's it. And when I looked at your list, and when I've seen your list, you've got a lot of people in this meeting, and I'm worried about the validity of this meeting because you've got a lot of people that don't meet the qualifications to be members of this organization, according to your articles of agreement, which are the law. And I'm just very concerned that not only is this being elongated, but it may be a nullity because of what your organizational documents say. People can be qualified to be members or not. That's it. Keene, Marlborough, and Swansea residents. And you've had an awful lot of people voting tonight that aren't qualified under those.
Madam Chair, may I respond?
Yes, Lee Perkins responding.
Thank you very much. I understand what Mr. Cook is saying. I'm the one that filed those documents. And since the inception of Cheshire TV of 2006, we have always had members, including appointed members, who were not residents of those three communities because they are stakeholders in the region. I would also like to point out that on multiple occasions, we've had employees who are members. So I understand what you're saying, but all of the member concerns about having board members who were not actually qualified to be board members were completely ignored by the board and yourself. So I think that we can certainly prove with our history a desire to follow the spirit of the bylaws, if not the letter of the bylaws.
I'm not talking about the bylaws, Mr. Perkins. I'm talking about your,
I understand.
which are your constitution.
Then let me rephrase that. We're certainly trying to follow the spirit of the Constitution, if not the letter. And if your concern is that all of these actions will be...
I would interject, Mr. Perkins, that the spirit has never been accepted.
Madam Chair, please control the meeting.
Christina, you'll have a chance to talk after Lee Perkins, please.
I just wanted to respond to Mr. Cook, and I wanted to make sure all the members understand that I don't want to sound glib, but we had, in order to get to this point, file a 25-page complaint about the actions of the board members for the past 15 months. If this is the one error that the members who are trying to set the ship right have made, I believe that that will not be problematic for us. And I call the question.
What's the question?
He's calling the question. What is the question? We haven't even got anything that we're voting on, are we?
No, we're waiting for the results.
Right.
All right.
Results
the
are
next
as follows. 25 yeas.
Just please, Conan's talking.
The results are as follows: 25 yeas to 12 noes, 3 abstentions.
Okay, thank you very much. So Conan Salata has been
Madam
removed from the board. I'm sorry, who's?
Madam
Tom?
Chair, Tom Burton.
Yes?
I would just like to say before, it sounds like the gentleman that was just speaking had a lot to say and then called the question to kind of shut everybody else down. I'm a new member. I don't know anything about Cheshire TV, but I came with an interest and enthusiasm. And I just have to say, I'm very unimpressed with this first meeting that I'm attending. It seemed like there's a lot of egos, a lot of vendettas taking place, and probably nothing I want to be involved in.
That's unfortunate, Tom, but thank you for stating. Christina, did you have something that you wanted to say?
I guess I'm all set now. Listening to Lee Perkins talk about the spirit of bylaws and action just did make me be a little defensive, because he has not for the last 9 months, when he has been involved in any meeting, has not taken the spirit of bylaws at hand, but has had a lot of rhetoric about the decisiveness of them. And so I apologize for interrupting.
Thank you, Christina. I have something I'd like
Madam Chair, a motion?
I have a question, please. I would like to listen to one more thing from Brad Cook, please. Lee Perkins brought up that there's a 25-page document that he's submitted someplace. I believe he's talking about the AG's office. I just wondered, Brad, if you could talk just a little bit about the AG's office, the IRS.
Out of order.
With all due respect,
I
Mr.
would
Cook
just
doesn't
like people
represent the
to
Attorney
understand
General's
what you're
office.
talking about, Lee.
I won't allow him to speak for the Attorney General. Won't happen.
Well, I think that,
Madam Chair, motion,
just one moment, please. Let me talk for just 1 minute. There are assumptions that have been made and miscommunications. So I would like to have people know what is actually going on. Now, this may not be the forum, and it will be in the forum in the future, but I would like to let people know that many of the things that have been said have been assumptions. I will leave it at that. Rick Blood, you wanted to make a motion?
I move that the membership remove Jody Turner without cause.
Second.
I'm sorry, there's too many of you guys. Who would like to do that?
Second.
Lee Perkins, thank you.
Well, you kind of fired your secretary, so how do you want to handle this?
I've been tracking the votes this whole time. I am happy to volunteer if Conan would not like to continue taking the role.
Okay, so Kirsten, do you have a list of the members?
I do, and I have.
Point of order.
I'm sorry.
Point of order.
Yes.
If someone has not been appointed secretary, they cannot be the person that takes the role and sends all of the minutes out and everything else. She has not been appointed secretary.
That's inaccurate. Anyone can be the secretary.
I'm sorry. Brad Cook, could you please explain on this?
I believe you can have an acting secretary if you have a vacancy for the purpose of this particular meeting. So I think it would be within the purview of the chair to ask for volunteers for an acting secretary. And the acting secretary
Kirsten has volunteered. So do we have to vote on this, Brad?
No.
Okay. So Kirsten, you will take the roll call. But right now what we're at is the motion. The motion has been made by Rick Blood and seconded by Lee Perkins to remove Jody Turner from the Cheshire TV board. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say some things.
Conan?
I want to address something that Terry Clark had mentioned, something about a clean slate. And this is the clean slate. This group that are currently being removed from the argument. What you're going to get as a result of all this is going back to the old slate, specifically bringing one individual back into employment who was fired for a reason. I'm speaking specifically of one disgruntled employee who has been spreading this conspiracy theory far and wide that he was fired because of a Facebook post and fired because he was speaking truth to power and that he was uncovering lots of mischievous goings-ons from this current board. That is completely and absolutely false.
Were you there when he was fired?
I have been with the organization for 8 years. I started as a volunteer. I have put hundreds of hours of production into this organization. I spent a year and a half on the board. And I actually worked as a part-time employee for a small stint there. I have seen this company from many different angles. And I can tell you, Dave Kirkpatrick was not fired for speaking truth to power. He was fired
you
because
there?
he is.
Please, Lee,
I have worked with
please let
Dave
Conan
Kirkpatrick
talk.
for 8 years.
Please let Conan talk.
I have worked with Dave Kirkpatrick for 8 years. The man is
Call the
completely
question,
worthless.
please.
He was fired for
Rick,
incompetence.
he's going to finish and that's it.
He was fired for incompetence, and there are many past board members here, as well as staff members, as well as producers who know exactly what I'm talking about.
Madam
This is what
Chair,
you're
you
gonna
have
get.
to shut this down for
Stop,
legal
please.
reasons.
When
The question has been called. Conan, you have had enough. Thank you.
When Team Perkins
Conan.
moves
You
in,
can't, well, no,
Enough.
you can't
When
Enough.
Team
interrupt,
Perkins,
you can't interrupt the speaker by calling the question and shut him up. You can't do
Thank
it.
you very much then. Thank you, Brad.
You can't do, but Madam Speaker,
Yes,
Madam
Chris.
Chair, there's a legal point here. You cannot discuss, I was the personnel chair for 14 years on a school board. You are now going to the point where you're getting into someone's personal record, which then puts the board at risk. All you can say is he no longer works for the company, but you can't go out and say he was fired because it is fired for that.
Right.
Again, some people are being very reckless.
Please, please, please,
I wasn't a part of his firing.
Please. Thank you, Chris. Conan, are you good?
I'm just letting the members and the community and the public know.
Thank you.
This is
Thank
what you're getting. This is what you're going to get.
It's fine, Conan. It's totally fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So the question has been called by who called the question?
Rick Blood.
Rick Blood. And who's the second? Dave Kirkpatrick? All right. Okay, so Kirsten, could you go down through the roll call, please?
So this is to call the question.
Call the question, yes.
Okay, there are some people who are here that aren't on my list, so I'm going to go through them in alphabetical order. And at the end, if I missed anyone, will you please let me know? I had a list printed from Nick, but there are a few that I've noticed sitting here. I will do my best. So Ernie Balder,
Yes.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Joseph Bendinsky,
No.
Zach Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Thomas Bonneville. Is he still here? Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark,
Yes.
Kirsten Klaus votes yes. Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow. Bill Dow,
Yes.
okay. Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Ewell,
Yes.
Ian Freeman, Christina Germano,
In the best interest of Cheshire TV, no.
Steve Hooper,
This is a purge? No.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Dave Kirkpatrick, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johanna Laurie, Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nick Morton,
Same.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Luca Paris, Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Daryl Perry, Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe. Travis. Conan Salida,
Conan,
No.
James Smart, Jody Turner,
no.
Russell Zulo. Russell,
Yes. Sorry, my computer.
it's okay.
Up.
Miguel Picano,
Yes.
Bailey Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Okay, and that's all the names I have on my actual printout. Who did
Okay,
I?
we have
Was
plenty
Travis
more.
Rowe counted? He's in the chat, so I think maybe he couldn't speak.
Who is this?
Travis Rowe.
Travis?
Travis, I did get. Jody, would you help?
I didn't hear Travis. Was Travis a yes?
He's a yes. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
great. Okay. And let me see just one sec. The other people are Johnny Bolster,
No.
Thomas Burton. Thomas Burton, I believe he's left.
Okay.
Richard Paul, I believe he's left, and Jim Bemis.
Jim Bemis, I got.
Okay,
All right, let me count them up one second.
very good.
And Kristen Nevius
Oh.
is a no.
Kristen Nevius, yes.
Yes, thank you. I'm
And
ready.
this is Randy Filio. You missed me. A yes.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
And this was to call the question.
Correct.
Mhm.
I'm counting 23 yes, 13 no, and 2 abstention.
Okay. All right, so we will vote. The motion has been made to remove Jody Turner from the Cheshire TV board. This has been made by Rick Blood and seconded by Lee Perkins. Could we have a roll call, please, Kirsten?
Yes. Ernie Bodler,
Yes.
Jim Bemis,
Yes.
Joe Dembinski,
No.
Zach Benton,
Yes. Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
No.
Terry Clark.
Yes.
Kirsten Klaus votes yes. Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow, Bill Dow, Elias Elliott,
Yes.
Mary Ewell,
Yes.
In the meeting, I'll call you right back.
Christina Germano,
No.
Steve Hooper,
Waterboarding Mother Teresa, no.
Todd Horner,
Abstain.
Michael Jasmine,
No.
Dave Kirkpatrick, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nicholas Morton,
Dane.
Shauna Nash,
No.
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Dave Payson,
No.
Lee Perkins,
Yes.
Aaron Potter,
Yes.
Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
Abstain.
Travis Rowe,
Yes.
Conan Salata,
No.
James Smart, Jody Turner,
No.
Russell Zulu,
Yes.
Miguel Picano,
No.
Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johnny Bolster,
No.
Thomas Burton. Is it Richard Paul? Is that correct? Rich Paul? Christina Nevio
No.
and Randy Filio.
Yes.
Okay. I have 20 yes, 14 no, 3 abstentions.
Okay. Motion passes. Jody Turner is no longer on the board. Do we have another motion?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
I would not like to adjourn the meeting. I have a comment to say.
Christina Germano?
I think it's very sad what's happened here, but that's okay. I'm good. My stress level will be lowered. I do want to inform the remaining 5 board members that have not been removed this evening.
7 board members.
The remaining board members that have not been removed this evening. Jody Turner and myself are the only signatures on the account of Savings Bank of Walpole that manages the cash. I will notify them tomorrow to remove Jody and I from the signature of the bank account, as well as administrator of any online information that the Cheshire TV's accountants get for access in order to do our bookkeeping. I will also remove myself tomorrow from the access to QuickBooks. I hope that the new board with a very limited membership within the next 24 hours can get to the Savings Bank of Walpole in Keene, establish new signatures on the account. Because if the 2 signatures are removed, the Cheshire TV is in jeopardy of losing and closing the account with Savings Bank of Walpole, which is one concern. The other thing is that the Finance Committee meeting, which is scheduled for 2 weeks from today, which is 1 week from the next board meeting, there is a requirement for any new treasurer that you elect in the next couple of days, as well as the chairperson is made available to attend that meeting. All members are welcome to that meeting. So I do wish all of you good luck. I do think it was a mistake, but as of tomorrow at noontime, there will be no signatures on the account of Cheshire TV. And I suggest that the board get an emergency meeting in session. Of course, you need to have 24 hours notice to the membership to do that. So you're going to be in limbo for a little bit.
Thank you, Christina. I'd like to hear from Brad Cook before we adjourn this meeting.
Well,
And Bob Milliken after that.
I've been doing this for 48 years, not 30. I appreciated the attribution that I got for being much younger than I am, but I frankly have never seen a meeting like this. And I repeat what I said before. You seem to have a lot of people participating who under your articles, which are not something that is amended by the spirit of them. It can only be amended by a filing with the state, who weren't qualified to vote. So I question whether what was done tonight was legal.
Bob Milliken, you had something to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone. I enjoyed working with you all in the move and creating the new studio. And I'm sorry that this has happened. It's interesting that the whole time I've been here, we've never had this many members join meetings. Maybe it's the pandemic and it's easier to be behind something that's not real, like a screen. But I enjoyed it, and it's interesting to see families show up too, which is quite interesting.
Right.
But thank you all, and good luck with everything.
Yes.
It's a spirit of the times, Rob. It's a spirit of the times.
So I would like to say one more thing.
A question for Mr. Cook. A question for Mr. Cook.
Yes, Terry Clark to Mr. Cook.
Okay, you mentioned that you do not believe this was a legal meeting. Could you please clarify the towns, the membership that you do not believe were authorized to be voting this evening?
Well, I think you'd have to go vote. I think you'd have to go vote by vote to see who voted on each motion to see whether there were qualifications to vote. It's possible they were legal. What I didn't say it was illegal. I said I questioned whether it was legal.
So it's just a suspicion.
Okay,
No,
now,
it wasn't a suspicion.
excuse me. All right, no, excuse me. Now, there is, this meeting is being recorded, and there is a record of the number of people who did vote. If one had to go through the, 2 hours that is here. So if there was to be a challenge to this, there is at least evidence that there are people, the names of the people who voted. And Mr. Cook is saying that which towns are you challenging as being not eligible to vote?
And
I'm
Mr.
not. I'm
Brad
not
Cook, could
challenging.
you, before you go on, Brad, could you please reference what you're referencing this from?
I'm talking about Article 3rd of the Articles of Incorporation of Cheshire TV, which limits the membership to residents of Keene, Marlborough, and Swansea. To be very precise, what I'm saying is if you go vote by vote and figure out if the majority was people who qualified from those towns, then I think it's probably a legal vote, but I think you'd have to do an analysis. I don't think you have to do it from the tape. You can probably do it from the roll calls in the minutes.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's great, Dave. That's wonderful. So I have a little something that I'd like to say. I'm sorry, Chris would like to say something first.
I'm a parliamentarian and I understand Robert's rules really well. We have a kind of a serious problem here. You voted out your chair, and so you have no chair. So then once you vote out your chair, you had to appoint someone to take the chair's place. Without a chair, you can't appoint someone to replace the trustee and take over a whole bunch of stuff because the chair's signature is going to have to be there when you go to the bank. So there's a lot of things that are going to not be able to be done. Even this meeting can't end because you don't have a chair. They did not, you haven't been replaced. You were taken out, but you weren't replaced. And so there's so many things that can only be done by the chair, because if the chair you recommend to the board who's going to be the treasurer, then the full board has to vote on that person being the treasurer. and then there's other things that go on. You are now really a headless board for a while. And for example, the treasurer, what happens if bills have to go, payments have to go out? They've created a big problem.
You are correct, Mr. Roberts.
Christina, thank you very much. I believe Lee Perkins wanted to say something, but he's not here right now. And if he isn't interested in saying something, Kirsten is next. Kirsten, did you want to say something?
Yeah, my understanding is that the meeting must adjourn because there is no chair to preside over the meeting as required by the bylaws. At the next board meeting, again, my understanding is that the board members who remain will vote to elect officers and then proceed. There are lots of circumstances, an act of God could, leave one remaining director. There isn't a provision for every single hypothetical scenario. So I would say that just like after the annual meeting or at the annual meeting, the directors elect among themselves a secretary, a chair, a vice chair, and a treasurer. That will happen at the next board meeting. But I really do think we should adjourn, or at this point, it's an informal conversation. The meeting of the members itself can't proceed without a chair to preside over it.
The last person that I'd like to hear from is Brad Cook, and then we will adjourn this meeting.
I think Kirsten was right. There's something called a doctrine of necessity. If you don't have somebody in an office, you can elect one, assuming what happened tonight was correct. You have a motion to adjourn, which technically is non-debatable.
Mm-hmm.
And your agenda was limited to the things noticed, so
exactly.
I suggest you vote.
Yep. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn. I believe that was from Lee Perkins. Is that correct?
Yes.
Lee Perkins, and a second.
I'll second that.
Christina Germano is seconding.
Yes,
All
Madam
right.
Chair. Sorry, that was me that made that.
Do we have a unanimous vote, Kirsten, so you don't have to go through each person? Could you just take a vote, please, Kirsten?
All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye.
All opposed?
Yes.
Learn to mute.
All right. And anybody opposed? Did you have any opposed? Awesome. We can agree on something.
No, I oppose, actually.
Terry opposes.
I think, well, I only do that to say that I think that we really should appoint a temporary chair to put the things in order to move forward.
Yeah.
To set a new meeting and I would move to appoint Steve Hooper as the temporary chair to move forward and set a new meeting and a new agenda.
I believe, Terry, the unfortunate thing is we only have one thing that we can vote on tonight, and that was the removal of board members. So I believe you guys are going to have to make up another meeting. Brad Cook, do you have anything to weigh in on this? Maybe Brad has left.
I believe Brad is moved, but
you
go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
You can bring this up under new business, and this would be new business. And yes, the board should appoint someone as a chair, because when you came into the meeting and you posted the meeting, there was not a guarantee that the chair would be removed. Now that the chair has been removed, that would come under new business, and then that would be a temporary chair. And then when you go post the next meeting, it would be the election of officials.
Will you second my motion, Chris?
That may be, but from what I understand, we were
Will you
only supposed to.
second my motion, Chris?
I'll second.
You second my motion, Chris? Thank you. I believe that we need to have somebody move forward at this time to at least bring the organization into a new normalcy. the new
Meeting.
phase, whatever the word is. So I really believe that, you know, we need to have somebody in charge right now to at least set a new meeting and set a new agenda, etc. I already did. Did anybody?
What are we doing? We're not supposed to be doing any of this here. We're not supposed to be doing any of this.
Yeah, the
Supposed
board.
to
This is
adjourn.
new.
Can set a
We're
board
supposed to
meeting
adjourn.
for me to chair right now.
All right.
Team Perkins can get on the phone after this meeting and they can start setting up whatever they need to do. But we need to go.
I believe that I've made a motion and it was seconded.
There was
And
already a
I-
motion to adjourn 5 minutes ago.
But it
And
wasn't
I don't know,
unanimous.
It wasn't, I didn't hear a second on that, and I would think that it would be prudent for us to at least set some sort of direction so that
Motion
we
to
can
adjourn
have,
was put as,
that's not direction.
The
Perhaps
attorney
that should have
said the
been-
motion
perhaps
to
that
adjourn
should have
is
been
not
thought about.
debatable.
Perhaps that should have been thought about before these members were removed, but I'm the Zoom administrator, so I'm going to take some degree of control. The motion to adjourn was made and seconded. We asked if it was unanimous. It was not, so it should be voted on by roll call. So
Well, there was-
Kristen has offered to do that.
It was unanimous with one objection. So let the minutes state that.
And it's not
I
unanimous.
didn't see a roll call saying it was unanimous.
Kristen, can you please call the roll on the motion to adjourn?
Yes. Ernie Balder,
No.
the motion is to adjourn the meeting. Ernie Balder votes no. Jim Bemis,
No.
Joe Dembinski,
Yes.
Zach Benton,
Yes.
Rick Blood,
Yes.
Michael Branley,
Yes.
Terry Clark,
No.
Kirsten Klaus votes yes. Lori Donahue,
Yes.
Bill Dow,
No.
Elias Elliott, Mary Ewell,
Yes.
Christina Germano, Steve Hooper,
Yes, adjourn the meeting. I'm not interested in running.
Todd Horner, Michael Jasmine,
Yes.
Dave Kirkpatrick, Angus Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Joe Moss,
Yes.
Susan McNeil,
Yes.
Robert Milliken,
No.
Nick Morton,
Abstain.
Shauna Nash,
yeah,
Jody Newell,
Yes.
Dave Payson, Lee Perkins,
Yes. Yes.
Aaron Potter.
Yes.
Sorry, did I miss someone?
Jody Turner.
Yes.
Johanna Laurie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't finished the roll. I thought I heard two people talking at once. Craig Rice,
Yes.
Chris Roberts,
No.
Travis Rowe,
Yeah.
Conan Salida,
Yes.
Jody Turner,
Yes.
Rosal Zulo,
Yes.
Miguel Picano,
No.
Bailey Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Johnny Bolster,
Yes.
Thomas Burton, Kristen Nebbio,
Yep. Yes.
Randy Filio.
Yes.
Is there anyone I missed?
Yes, Johanna Laurie, and I vote yes.
Okay, sorry, Johanna.
Let's move to adjourn. They already had the vote. So I'm like, fuck it.
I mean, I can count them, but I think it's safe to say the vote.
It's
to adjourn the meeting
26-7, I
passes.
believe.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
Okay,
All
the
right.
meeting is over. Have a great night, everyone.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.